What is it the Libra placements need to know? What are the main themes, circumstances coming up for Libra placements? Your higher self in reverse. Interesting. So you may feel in the month of July that there's a bit of a disconnect, right? And I feel like a lot of that is due to possibly circumstances that have been taking up a lot of your attention, okay, with professional assistance in reverse, right? So there may be things that you're still dealing with, battles that you're trying to overcome, right? But it just feels like there is a bit of a disconnect between yourself and your spirit, right? Other facets of self and your own spirit. So I do feel like he is trying to get your attention on what is needed at this time, okay? But I just feel like the message isn't being received, right? You may even feel like things are becoming a bit monotonous because you're trying to just deal with things as they come up. So it's hard to really sort of be in your element or operate the way that you wish to, right? Because you feel like you're having to almost do like damage control or just like living in survival mode, something like that. So it's hard to be in this more like Zen state, right? But that's what you're requiring right now, is to be in that Zen state. Because it's actually when you're in that Zen state that you're going to find a lot of things start to fall in place. Okay, so it's kind of a catch-22. You feel like you can't be Zen because there's stressful things happening in your life. But it's through being in that Zen state that you will find the solutions to your problems, right? So that's basically the energy in a nutshell. So let's look at that in more detail for you guys, all right? So tell me more about this for Libra. Yeah, look, exactly, the Hierophant. You may even would benefit from some assistance, okay? If you've been seeking counsel, information, knowledge, insight when it comes to resolving certain issues, then there may be someone that you can communicate with. There may be a professional who would be able to assist you with some of these issues, right? You may even know someone personally that could help, but because you're just bogged down by the stress or you're just in the thick of it, you're not thinking clearly. So you're not even considering the fact that you know someone who could actually assist you, okay? That's the funny thing. Or if you're having a hard time and you feel like it's difficult to connect with self on that level, there may be someone who can assist with that, okay? Maybe you go to a spiritual healer, maybe you go and see a therapist, okay, to have some therapy sessions, right? Just to help you sort of navigate your emotions and how you've been feeling and thinking in a way where you can really express that, right? In an environment where you feel like it's safe to do so as well. That's possible, okay? Because the Hierophant can be a mediator of sorts, right? Counsel. It's possible as well that you may feel like you're, with that professional assistance as well, that you're underqualified for something. Okay, yeah, I just saw the High Priestess there. If you're scared that you're not qualified to deal with something, or something is beyond your reach, or it's too much for you, then that's when I would say don't be afraid to ask for assistance, okay? So if you know you're someone who is hyper independent and have a hard time asking for support or going to the necessary individuals that can assist, this is a time where you need to start practicing that, okay? No one can do everything. That's just not possible. Everyone has their strengths. Everyone has their skill sets. Everyone is well versed in different things, right? So if this is something that is outside of your scope, don't be afraid to seek that support, okay? Counsel, insight, information, okay? Guidance, whatever you need, okay? Because I just feel like you're trying to deal with something on your own that you really don't have to deal with on your own. Yeah, 3 of Wands. Exactly. So you got to get the ball rolling, Libra, okay? People will meet you halfway, but they need to be aware of what it is that you need in the first place. If you're struggling, let the universe know, okay? Yeah, especially with this 10 of Swords here. If you've been through something pretty deep, something very difficult, painful, okay, then it may require some support, okay? No one's expected to handle it, like situations like this entirely by themselves, you know? If you need support, it's time to open up, okay? Yeah. And I feel like that's it. You feel like you have to do everything by yourself. And because you're weighed down, you're finding it difficult to find the solution. But it's when you're calm, it's actually when you stop for a moment that you're going to see clearly what it is that you need, what it is you need to do. And you definitely would benefit from some kind of support, whether that is emotional support in the form of like therapy, or even having someone just to talk to about it, or whether that is like some kind of assistance in, you know, like a, I don't know, like a more professional capacity, you know, maybe like work or legal or resources or something like that, okay? You know, something that's a little bit more mundane in that way. But it does feel like for a portion of you, this could be something that, you know, tackles like your emotional well-being, to be honest, okay? Tell me more. 7 of Pentacles. Yeah. So if it is a case of you're worried about whether or not you have the resources for it, okay, you can start small or start saving towards that. Say, for example, if you wanted to see a therapist, right? But you're worried about the costs, you could start saving incrementally towards that, right? So at least then you're taking steps towards making that happen. Or if you can only do so many sessions at one time, that's fine, do that, right? But at least you're getting the ball rolling, and maybe that's all you need. Maybe you only need a few sessions. Or if you just need someone to open up to that you feel like, you know, isn't going to judge you or something like that, feel free, you know. But it looks like for some of you guys, there's definitely a need for, or you feel like you need some kind of professional assistance here, but you don't feel able to reach out. Yeah, Page of Swords. 6 of Cups. Because there's something you're still trying to make sense of, and it is a past situation that was very difficult, very painful, right? And I'm just saying, from what I see here, some of you guys will need support with that, okay? So if you are struggling, it's really important that you seek out the necessary help. It may not even cost you as much as you think. There may even be some resources available to you, right, where it isn't going to require a huge amount of money, you know what I mean? So guys, just something to keep in mind. But if you know you need help, this is your sign to inquire, okay? See what's available to you, okay? Don't suffer in silence, especially because, like I said, you know, it's hard to think clearly or find the solution when you're in the thick of it. But when someone can help you, you know, work through things and reach that point where you have clarity of mind, where you're calm, or at least calm enough to see clearly again, then I think you're going to know exactly what you need to do or what's going to help you, okay? But you don't have to face this alone, whatever this is, okay? So I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I hope this does help.